Hello everyone, and welcome to this slightly different little video here. Today I really wanted to dive into breath work and some different pranayama practices that maybe you can implement in your daily life, whether it's on the mat during your practice or if it's off the mat just in your quiet time or maybe during a meditation. I thought this would be better done in a sit-down video where I can sort of explain the techniques. You can watch me and I can explain the benefits and maybe the reasons why you may want to practice these things. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. Let me know if this is something that you'd be interested in seeing more. And with all that said, let's get started. So obviously breathwork is a very integral part of any yoga practice. It's one of the first things that you are told when you go into a class, typically, is really getting in touch with your breath and really learning to find that really slow, deep breath. This type of breathing in yoga is called pranayama, and we'll get more into depth about that. But just as a baseline, really think about breathing and how different types of breath can really affect you. Different breaths, different breathing techniques can affect you, whether it's in a good way or maybe in a not so great way. So obviously there's certain breathing that you can do that would raise your heart rate and potentially would energize you, but this has the potential of maybe causing anxiety. Or you could use breathing techniques that help to slow the heart rate, to slow the breath, and to calm the body. Each of these have their own place. Today I'm mostly focusing on the ones that are very calming and relaxing because I find those are the ones that people tend to gravitate more towards, basically. I find that these are the ones people enjoy during a practice, and I also find that these are the ones that will have like the most short-term benefits, I think, for more people. So breathwork and breathing have become sort of these big things in sort of pop medicine, I guess to say. People are talking about breathing techniques. There's a million different types out there. I'm sure there's thousands of different variations out there, but essentially the entire purpose is typically to help calm the body, calm the mind. Very focusing on more like of the meditative aspects of breathing, of really calming the body, maybe helping to combat things like anxiety, maybe even combating lethargy. But in yoga, the breath is essential, like I've mentioned before. So pranayama in yoga are these breathing techniques that you use during your entire practice. And any of the videos that I've made or any of the classes that I teach, or maybe if you've gone to any other classes in person before, typically the instructor is going to begin the class by telling you to get in touch with your breath, to lengthen your inhales and your exhales, to really help ground yourself down, right? These breathing techniques are integral to your practice because this is what helps your movements, your asanas, and sets a very strong foundation for the rest of your practice. Hello, Andy. Oh my God. Hi, Bessie. So let's circle back to the term pranayama. What does it mean? Where does it come from? Pranayama is the combination of two Sanskrit words, which is prana and anayama. Prana is your vital force or your vital energy. This is the energy that flows within your body and helps you to stay energized, balanced, all of these things. Anayama is this idea of control or restraint. And so literally put together, pranayama is control or restraint over your own vital energy. And this is done traditionally in yoga, like I said, through breathing and breath work. So essentially you can energize your prana, make it move faster if you're feeling lethargic with breathing techniques that raise your heart rate, or you can calm the prana. So for this video today, I'm going to be focusing on 3 different pranayamas, and I'm going to give you their Sanskrit name as well as their sort of English name, and I hope you maybe really connect with one. So today specifically, we're going to talk about 3 different pranayama, all of which are very calming and are meant to help lower the heart rate, calm the body, calm the prana, all of these things. And we're going to start with the most essential and also most basic pranayama, which is called ujjayi pranayama. And ujjayi is of course, again, a Sanskrit term. And in English, a lot of times you'll hear this referred to as the oceanic breath. Now, this is the breath that you're going to most commonly be using in a vinyasa practice. This is that very deep breath in through the nostrils, out through the nostrils. This is the one you're probably the most familiar with. So to practice this one as a baseline, and again, this is one that you're going to be using probably the most often, is you're going to lengthen your inhales and your exhales, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. All right. Finding that nice deep breath, and then you're going to add a slight constriction in the back of the throat. That's basically just going to cause this oceanic sound. So we're going to inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. So this breath is really helpful to bring oxygen to all parts of the body. Like I said, this is also the breath that you're going to most typically be using in a vinyasa practice. It's also really great with just slowing down. This is a very simple breathing technique that you can use at any point during the day that doesn't really require you to do anything special. You can do this while walking. You can do this while obviously doing your yoga practice. You can do this laying down. This also helps, just like with any sort of deep breathing technique, can help to focus the mind. And this is where I would definitely recommend you to start. If this is your first sort of foray into breathing, this is a really great place to start. So anytime you do a yoga practice, keep this one in the back of your mind. When your instructor tells you to deepen your breath, find that ujjayi breath. Find that really deep breath, and it'll really help flow your practice and really ground you down even further. The next technique we're going to be talking about is dirgha pranayama, or this is called 3-part breathing. When you breathe using this technique, you are breathing through all parts of your body. So the best way to imagine this is that you almost take like little sips of breath. So you begin breathing. With your inhale, you're going to fill up the bottom third of your lung, the middle third of your lung, and then the top of your lung. You have the option here. You can hold for maybe a moment, and then you go in reverse. So on your exhale, you release the top third, the middle third, and the final third. So the point of this breath really is to really help bring that breath, that oxygen through your entire body. Really encourages you to find a really deep breath that maybe you don't find very often. This one is traditionally practiced sitting. I'm sure you can imagine why, just so you can really focus on it. But this is also one that you could definitely practice laying down in a shavasana, maybe trying to go to bed. Our example here, so we're going to inhale, filling up the bottom third, middle third, top third. And again, you can hold here if you like, and then exhaling, top third, middle third, bottom third. And you move through this cycle over and over, and eventually you'll find a nice rhythm, really wanting to expand those lungs, really encouraging that oxygen, that breath to fill your entire body. So again, completely filling up the lungs and then completely emptying the lungs. I personally really love this one for grounding and just overall relaxation. I find that this one is, again, really easy to learn and to practice. And again, this one is really great at lowering the heart rate. And so this can be a really beautiful grounding exercise for you. Maybe if you struggle with anxiety, or if you're really just trying to make your body relax, maybe trying to go to sleep at night, this is one that you can definitely try. So the final technique that I want to touch on is nadi shodhana pranayama, or this is alternate nostril breathing. So this one is going to be the most complicated in terms of steps that you take to practice this one. But I do find that any client that I've ever done this with really, really enjoys it. This one, again, is done traditionally seated. You could do this one on your back. I've only ever personally taught it upright seated, just because of, you'll see in a minute with the movement of the fingers. I just find that this is the easiest way to do it. Now, I will say, as a preface to this one, this is one where we're going to be closing off one nostril at a time. And so if you are coming off of a cold, or you have a stuffy nose, your allergies are acting up, maybe skip this one for the time being. This is one, like I said, it does restrict some of your airflow. So if you're struggling with breathing already through the nose, maybe skip this one until your nose is cleared, your allergies have cleared, you've gotten over your cold or the flu or whatever. So this one, there's going to be a lot of steps. So I'm going to walk you through it, and then I'll show myself doing it, all of that good stuff. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your hand. You can take your right hand or your left hand. I typically do my right hand because I'm right-handed. And you're going to take your thumb, and you can use your ring finger, your pointer finger. I like my ring finger personally. And you're going to bring your thumb and your ring finger to your nostril. So for me, my thumb is going to be on my left nostril, my ring finger on my right. So to begin, you're going to inhale in through both nostrils. Exhale out through both nostrils. All right, and so to begin, we're going to gently close that left nostril, inhaling in through the right, pausing here, plugging the right nostril, and then exhaling through the left. Inhaling through that left nostril, pausing, exhaling through the right nostril. Now you're going to move through this flow at your own comfortable pace here. So basically continue doing this, making sure that you keep both sides nice and even, since we're alternating sides. The biggest purpose behind this breath, aside from the obvious relaxation and sort of meditative aspect of it that you fall into, is that it's supposed to help balance the prana in your body, or that energy. The idea is that it balances the two sides of your body because you're able to purify them using your breath, and sort of calming them and bringing them back into alignment, or back into kind of underneath your control. And like I said, this one is a little bit more complicated, but once you get the hang of it, I find that it's quite easy to perform. And I really enjoy how this one makes me feel. I find that this one, at least to me, is the most relaxing, and I've found a lot of my clients tend to agree. And this is one that I said, again, just be very mindful if you ever start feeling lightheaded doing this kind of breath work. Obviously, releasing your nostrils and breathing nice and deep. And whenever you finish this, you just release your nostrils once you've evened out your sides, and you can just breathe through your nose. You can return to that ujjayi breath, or you can just let go of the breath. You can do whatever you would like. And so as you can see, these kind of techniques almost build off of each other. Now that we've sort of talked about these three different breathing techniques, I really hope that you can sort of see how they almost build off each other, and how important the breath is when we're talking about creating an optimal, I guess you could say, yoga practice. How integral it is to really finding that deep relaxation, being able to move mindfully, and being able to enjoy the sort of feast of your practice, that deep meditation. These, again, you don't have to just use these in yoga. You can use these at any time. It doesn't matter whether you're on the mat, off the mat. You can always use these, which is why I really love them. And I think these are really great options, again, if you want to try and play around with breath work to maybe help anxiety. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, but if this is something that you really want to try out, you want to play around with, it's not going to hurt anything. I find that these three techniques are the ones that I use the most when teaching. I find that people tend to really enjoy these the most, which is why I wanted to share them with you today. And I think really being mindful about our breathing can help us both on and off the mat. Let me know if you enjoyed this, and maybe I'll do a couple more little deep dives sort of like this behind different techniques. I'm kind of thinking about doing it anyway, maybe focusing on the different limbs of yoga, but let me know maybe down below if that would be something you would like to see. Let me know if you enjoyed this. You can give me a little like. I always feel very cringy asking for those things, but I have yapped for a bit, so I feel like it's okay. I'm wanting to do a little bit more deep diving into the sort of philosophy aspects of yoga. So if that's something that you're interested in, maybe subscribe. Don't know when those will be happening, but yeah, stay tuned. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I hope to see you back here soon, whether it's on the mat or just in this sort of more casual setting like this. Bye.